AskReddit by deleted. What survival myth is completely wrong and can get you killed? Deleted. It's the quench yeast. Not a myth, but I feel there is too little awareness about using wet rocks near fire, as they can potentially explode and cause serious damage. And X200B. Example: do not use river rock as a cooking surface between direct fire and your food. Nature's version of pressure cooker with a loose old gasket. Also, if you are using a cave as shelter and making a fire underneath it, start small for a few hours. The heat from the fire on the rocks above you can easily cause them to crack and fall on you. The desert is hot and little clothing is best. Cover up during both the day and the night. The sun will burn you and dehydrate you very quickly. During the night it's really common for people to die of hypothermia because the temperature drops so fast. And honestly, living here, during the winter it gets to the low 20s pretty often. And the wind is awful. Edit to at, it's dry heat here. There's no moisture in the air majority of the year. You can drop dead from heat stroke barely sweating. Deleted. Running in a zigzag to outrun an alligator. Alligators don't run for long distances, so this will probably just waste your energy. They can also climb some fences and trees as well. Just run straight. No question, just book it. The alligator will eventually decide it's had enough. Edit. Okay, I'm getting too many people pointing out that gators are faster. It doesn't matter if they can catch you. Believe me, I checked. Wild alligators rarely chase humans on dry land. In some situations they might, but usually they don't bother. Who cares how fast they can run if they aren't even going to run you? So stop. If you're in a tornado, open all your windows to equalize the pressure inside to match the outside. If you're in a tornado, opening any window or door will create a wind tunnel that rips your entire roof off. If I recall correctly, it doesn't matter anyway, you waste time doing that when you need to get to the lowest part of a building and or the innermost room. Cracks and small openings take care of air pressure, as buildings aren't airtight. Overpasses are not safe places to shelter. In fact, they're more dangerous. They create wind tunnels. Average lead time for tornado warnings in the US is 9 minutes, but people still don't take them seriously. The most common refrain I've read from people who survived the Joplin tornado is that they didn't take the warnings seriously. Even with a tornado watch, they didn't pay attention to the weather. Scrolling through these comments knowing full well that my ass isn't going outside city limits anytime in the next decade. Urban survival. If you hear shots, go home. If you hear yelling, ignore it and go home. If someone is following you, don't go home. Check the license plate against your app info and ask the name of your driver if you are using Uberlift. Walk purposefully with your head up. Act like you belong. If you saw something, no the fuck you didn't. That moss grows on the north side of a tree. It can grow all over the tree, so it's not a steadfast rule that you should make important decisions solely on. I grew up in the rainy PNW, and when I heard this as a little kid, I looked at all the moss on every side of the trees and thought that I must just live in the most north place lol. Edit. I swear if I read another comment about how it would actually be the most south place, I might lose my dang mind more than it's already been lost. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. If lightning has found a path that it likes to the ground, it's extremely likely to strike there multiple times. That's why lightning rods work. That used to be the first part of a joke when I first heard it in the 70s or 80s. The second part, when you ask why, is because the same place isn't there twice. Yuck yuck. Somehow over the years the first part took on a life of its own and became a wrong fact. If a shark is coming after you, swim away. If a shark is coming towards you in the first place, it's most likely just curious and wants to check you out. Swimming away and thrashing about will further intrigue it to keep following you. Instead, redirect it by running your hand along its side and carefully positioning it to swim away from you. Side note, if one happens to bite you, stab it in the eyes or pull on its gills instead of bopping it in the nose. Gills and eyes are far more sensitive than a shark's nose. Edit. Loads of replies about how punching underwater is practically impossible, and you'd be 100% right. Fixed. Shark. Oh hey, what's the shuffle? Right, I see how it is. Edit. Whoa, I can finally claim a non-horrible post as my top. Follow flying birds to find water. They can simply be flying to spend a night anywhere, so we can't rely on them. Colorado is landlocked and dry as fuck and barely has any water beyond a handful of man-made reservoirs. There are seagulls here. Don't listen to birds. Concerning frostbite, do not rub someone's frostbitten skin or pour hot water on it to warm them up. Such measures will damage the skin even more severely. The fastest and safest method for warming up someone is direct animal heat, that is letting them put their frosty skin next to yours. Hey, if you can keep your digits by putting a cold hand on my belly, be my guest. If you're in a hot area, don't ration your water. Drink when you feel thirsty and search for more water. Edit. The myth to be avoided is rationing your water. Don't ration. Ration sweat, not water. Thank you USAF Survival School. Edit. Wow, this blow up lol. At SEER School they teach you to find shade and try to do as little as possible during the hotter times of the day. If you have to move, you do so when it cools off. Rationing your water doesn't help you. It will only dehydrate you and impair your judgment. Your brain needs water. Depriving yourself of proper hydration is the best way to unintentionally kill yourself. Conserving water. You should not stretch a glass of water over for days. When you are thirsty, you need water. I've heard people die of dehydration while still having water because they tried to conserve it. Just because water looks clean doesn't mean it is. You've got to boil it or distill it to actually have clean water. Or carry a modern filter like a Life Straw or Sawyer if you think there's even a remote chance you're going to be stranded with no potable water. I'll also add that drinking dirty water is always a better option than going without water. If you are dehydrated but don't have a way to sanitize your water, drink the water anyway. There's a chance it will make you sick or maybe even kill you in very rare cases, but dehydration will always kill you. Most of the stuff Bear Grylls does, like eating raw meat, picking and eating fruit out of bear shit, or squeezing the juice out of elephant shit and drinking it. Deleted. You cannot eat everything that an animal can eat. There are things animals can eat that humans find toxic, so eating everything you see animals eating can lead to you potentially eating deadly berries or mushrooms. Yeah, and it goes both ways. Humans can eat stuff like chocolate and grapes and other animals can't eat chocolate, and I know dogs definitely can't eat grapes. Split to cover more ground. Gotta blame Fred and Daphne for this. Drinking alcohol when you are freezing will keep you warm. It won't. It will bring on hypothermia much sooner. Deleted. If your plane is crashing, an inflatable raft makes a terrible parachute. And yet, I'd still grab the raft if my options are raft or nothing. At least that way I'll die a captain. You can drink water from a cactus. Any liquid inside a cactus will be highly acidic and likely to cause nausea and diarrhea, further dehydrating you. The notable exceptions to this rule are the prickly pear and one species of barrel cactus, the fishhook barrel, Pherocactus whistlezini. While both of these plants are fairly unpleasant to eat raw, they have less concentrated levels of the detrimental chemicals and could give you a bit of hydration in a pinch. Pulling out something that is impaling you. The rule is, if it's in, keep it in. If it's out, keep it out. Until you can get help. That you'll be totally safe if you only eat plants fungi you recognize. Hemlock looks a lot like wild parsnips. Basically all wild almonds will kill you if you eat more than one. And of course there's the CRISPR candless potato seed thing. Wait, what? Wild almonds will kill you? And what is this potato seed thing you speak of? That you can give somebody CPR and they'll be fine moments later like nothing happened. I was 38 years old when I discovered that CPR is to manually pump blood around the body so the patient doesn't end up with brain damage. I always figured it was to try and restart the heart, but no, you're manually compressing it so it pumps blood until it either restarts itself or someone arrives with a death rib. I don't know if it's a myth, but I remember Bear Grylls had no qualms about getting wet in his show. But getting wet is extremely bad in survival situations in most climates. If I recall, he once stripped down naked to demonstrate how to cross an icy river. Drinking alcohol when you are stuck in extreme cold. Alcohol dilates blood vessels and opens the pores in your skin, allowing body heat to escape. You feel hotter because your skin is warm but your core body temperature is dropping. Stand in a doorway in an earthquake. Myth: the rubber tires on a vehicle will insulate you from ground and protect you from lightning. Lightning doesn't stop for 2 inches of rubber, though the car will act like a Faraday cage and protect you from the electrical current unless you're in a convertible, a motorbike or any other vehicle that doesn't cover you in all directions. Also, don't lay down on the ground during a thunderstorm. You increase the risk of being shocked by a ground current, which can be pretty dangerous. Another thing, don't take shelter under a tree or a gazebo, they can explode or light on fire when struck. Deleted. Drinking your own piss. People who survive do so despite drinking the wee-wee. But it sure is fun, though. It's sterile and I like the taste. If a nuclear bomb is exploding in your general vicinity, hiding in a refrigerator will not save you. Hiding in water might though. Jump in a lake. If you get lost in the desert, do not ration your water. You don't know how long you'll be there, and if you ration you'll dehydrate yourself faster. Use the water to keep you in shape for a little longer, which in turn can help you mentally. I read this somewhere which also mentioned that many people found dead in the desert still have a full canteen of water because they try to ration it. Apologies for no source. After hearing comments about it, I looked this up to see if it was actually true, given that it's just a random fact I remembered from somewhere. Off-Grid Web explains in more detail why rationing water isn't the best idea. https://www.offgrid.com/preparation/the-myth-of-water-ration-wild-desert/amp/ However, I have seen some people say that you could ration water, but to an extent. Which does make sense, there is a balance to it, but I wrote this when I was tired and didn't really think it through. Hopefully this link can clear up some things. Edited for spelling and provided a source.